Welcome. This is a podcast, and I'm Chris.
And I'm Wendy.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. You know, there's some other paranormal, ghostly podcasts out there for you, and you chose us, and we really appreciate that.
I do.
We hope to keep your attention, and we hope you enjoy. And, of course, we have a million forms of social media that we usually tell you at the end of the podcast, but let's just throw that out there now. It's creaturesofthenightparanormal@gmail.com if you want to email us stories or tell us, hey, you guys really should get to the point sooner. I mean, you can do that, or you can go to COTN_paranormal at anything, you know, Twitter and all that, Instagrams and Facebooks, and you can tell us what you're thinking and what's going on, because we try to be as legit as possible and give you a great entertaining time for 1 hour, 1.5 hour of your time.
We try to make it at least an hour and a half or under, but sometimes the stories are just so good. Just stay with us as long as you possibly can.
We're going to get somewhere and tell you about some ghost and crazy activity.
Eventually. Well, anyways, do you want to talk about the shirts that we make for our podcast?
Yeah. I always want to talk about them. I love making those t-shirts too.
Yeah, I know you're good at it. They look awesome. I love the way they turn out.
I wish you could see the process that is like made with those shirts. It's a lot of yelling at my partner to help me line it up. But they're so much fun to make, and they are on our Etsy shop, and they're on our website, creaturesofthenightparanormal.com. And we have had new products roll out. Not too long ago, there was an episode that was like, oh, we got some bombs and some roll-ons coming on, but they're not out yet. Actually, they are. By the time that episode aired, we had gotten our shit together, and those products were ready to be out like the week before that. So I realized that as I was listening to it, I was like, I'm sitting there saying, they're not out yet. Oh, actually they are. They've been out for a week, Wendy. Calm down. It's like,
you know, we record everything so far in advance that, it's difficult. We are 2 weeks ahead of the game. Basically. Well,
yeah, right now we only have 2 weeks to get our podcast edited and on the air. And believe it or not, I know a lot of other people that podcast might think, oh my God, that's a long ass time. It's not in our world. Okay.
Right. No, it's tough to actually
going on.
Yeah, we do.
So we need 2 weeks to feel comfortable.
Yes.
If we had help, you know, hint, to any, I don't know, drama majors out there that want to help or whatever.
I don't know about that. I got plenty of major drama going on around here. We don't need any more.
Hey, you're in a college town. I mean, I'm in a college town too, but I mean, like,
I am.
You're at University of New Hampshire?
Yes.
What is that over in?
It's Southern New Hampshire University. Is right down the street.
That is such a cute little town that it's in too. And
Durham. That's what you're trying to say,
yes,
right? The town that it's in. Speaking of, I look at houses all the time around here because I just dream about places that I eventually want to move into. And this one house that I saw that was for sale, so cute. It's an older house. It's one of the typical New England houses that have like this. The house is like basically touching the street. Like there's a sheet of grass in front, and that's it. Not even a sheet, like a strip. And then it's on the street because like I get it. Like I didn't when I first moved out here. I was like, who would want their house that close to the road? Everybody that has to shovel, they don't want to have to deal with it. So they get their houses right up to the road.
I get what you're saying. You said that in an episode not too long ago. But
yeah.
Like also at the same time, I can't handle people passing by the windows that much.
Yeah.
Like to see that much movement, I'm like, what's that? What's that going on? I live in like a weird spot. We're not exactly a cove, but we're not exactly a street that everybody's gonna pass through on unless you live on this fucking street or you're lost.
Right.
So it's one or the other.
Right. Or you're looking around.
Yeah. Like look for a house to break into. So if I see somebody, you know, driving through my neighborhood, I'm like, I don't know that car. You know, I'm paying attention to them. So too many cars driving by, that would be too much for my brain to handle.
I get it. Especially when like you're in a situation where you're right off the street, because if someone's coming down that street and it's icy, they could just slide right on into your house. And it happens all the time.
Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. No.
That's why so many people get those boulders and put them out. If someone were to come, it would kind of stop them from going right into the house. But anyways, the whole reason why I told you that is because on the episode that you discussed about the vampires, I was like, you know, did they live in a barn where the man had crawled up into like the rafters to
Yeah,
look
in the
down. This
rafters.
house had that in the bedroom. I was like, this is the house that Wendy was talking about. It's right here in New England.
Well, I thought about that as when that episode came out and I was listening to it and stuff. Oh, I was thinking, oh, I bet that rafters in your everybody wants
Right.
vaulted ceilings in their
Right.
house and stuff like that. So I was like, actually, that would be really
Yeah.
beautiful. You were like, who has that? And I was like, people with taste.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's gonna be gorgeous.
Oh,
I
yeah.
bet. Like really high ceilings with the beams across. That would be my jam. I'd like it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't knocking it as like a
No.
'cause,
I know that's not what you were saying. But I mean, it did sound very strange. And the fact that nobody noticed him was
right, just
strange.
hanging out
I
there.
mean, especially if they were hanky-panking and around.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody should be on their back and they should be noticing this.
Well, I thought about that too. The century that was in, I mean, it wasn't in the 1900s, right? This was back in the 1800s. So they would have had like
Oh, yeah.
candlelight going into that bedroom. They wouldn't have had like a light switch up there or anything to illuminate the room. So the house that I saw, yes, vaulted ceilings. I assume that to modernize the house or whatever, they probably lifted that up because the beams were natural wood, like painted or not painted, stained, like natural wood. So it was very beautiful. And it was like, yes, I would love that. But with the light on and the ceilings all white, you'd see dude up there hanging from the rafters. So I'm like, by candlelight, you probably couldn't. So anyways, just to give more credence to your Stephen King told me it was okay story. So I had to bring that up. But anyways, I do have some crazy activity that I wanted to share with you earlier.
I want to hear this.
So I've mentioned before on the podcast that I've had some activity in the house. I've saged and cleansed everything. I hadn't had any activity. Everything was pretty quiet with the exception of one of my other cats now acting a little bizarro on the stairs. She'd never done that before, but she's a bizarre cat anyways. She started doing some weird things. She's actually playing with whatever it is that she sees along the stairwell. I don't know what she sees. I don't have moths. I don't have spiders. It's the winter. We should probably have, if there are any bugs, they would be living probably in the house, but I don't see them.
Well, let me ask you something because you've told me about that before. And I know how your house is set up, so I'm assuming no, but there's no light that like plays on the stairs, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because your windows are further off from that. The stairs are kind of
right
in a darker part of the living room. So yeah, I didn't assume there was, but I know that like my dog Chance pounces on spots of light on the floor. So
oh yeah, and both of my cats are definitely light killers. They want to tear it apart. They're not bug killers because I guess it's actually a crawling thing, but light, they want to kill it. So yeah, your questioning is totally sound. If cars pass by the front of my townhome, you can see a reflection of their lights, but it's in the living room itself going along the ceiling near the windows. So I've never seen that going up the stairs or even going near the stairs. It's always directly above the windows.
Yeah, because there's really no window in front of the stairs, and then it's on the second floor. Your living space is on the second floor. So, I mean, that makes it hard too.
Right. So, however, the cars are passing and their light is actually reflecting off of like the front of my truck for it to be bouncing onto the ceiling, basically above the windows.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I've been able to find. I've never seen any light going up the stairs, but I would totally blame that first because, yeah, of course, my cats, like I said, they're light killers. So that was a weird situation. Something else happened too. I got something recently, and it's a bunch of cards in a box. So I've got the cards sitting in a box on the side of my altar, and it was closed when I went to bed that night. And in the morning, it was open, and some of the cards had been disturbed.
Okay. Why didn't you lead with that fucking story?
Yeah, right. That was another one of those things I was like, now I know I closed it. I remember closing the box and putting it right there because it's one of those things. I was proud of it. So I wouldn't have left it open all disheveled. Like, that doesn't make sense. Now I get, I take my socks off at night and I leave them on the floor because I'm hopping into bed. That's the last place my feet are before I get in bed. That makes sense. But when you have something that you're collecting something or something that you finally complete and you're proud of it, and you're going to take care of it. You're not just going to just leave it scattered all over the place. You're going to put it in a nice little organized spot. I mean, maybe that nice organized spot is all over the kitchen counter, but you know where it is and how you left it.
Exactly. Yes, yes, yes. We both have altars. We both have spaces with our products and whatnot, and we know how nobody else disturbs those things.
Nobody
else in our house will dare touch those things.
Exactly.
So you know how you left this stuff, and not most. What was I about to say? I mean, just like you said, you're leaving it in a certain manner.
Right.
I imagine you're just like me, and you want to be respectful in the end of these products because you feel like, I don't know what you're talking about. You just said a deck of cards or whatever. But I mean, they must have some kind of meaning to you if you put them on your altar. So I'm assuming this is something that you feel like has some kind of energy to it. So we're going to leave it a certain way. So we're not going to be disrespectful and just leave it willy-nilly anywhere.
Right, exactly.
And open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's on a spot. This is the only thing that really bugs me. It is the closest thing to the door from my bedroom that leads out into the hallway. And that's exactly where that thing was.
Yeah. Why doesn't it enter into the room with you? But you said the cat responds to one spot in the corner too, though.
Yeah, she does. So, and I don't know if it's just because I have a lot of my crystals right there. I do a lot of staging in that area, which I guess I need to be a little bit more cognizant of doing more staging throughout my house. But there is one spot in my bedroom that she responds to a lot, and it's on the opposite side of when you immediately enter into my bedroom and were to like keep walking straight, it would be right there. And my altar is along the wall of the entryway. So on the furthest, opposite end, I guess, of that altar is where the cat responds to.
When you move your crystals because it's a full moon and you have them all down and a lot of activity has happened during that time, is that when you, I know you had an experience, you personally had an experience, but did not the other person that shares that room with you have an experience while those crystals were out of there? Or was that not during that time?
No, that was during that time because I had left the crystals down underneath the moonlight. And that was the first time he had ever experienced.
So not you, complete believer. It was your skeptic in the bed next to you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
That had an experience while the crystals weren't in there to protect you. When I told my other half about that, he says, "Where are your crystals?"
I know, right?
Have you put them back in our bedroom?
Right.
Like,
protect us?
Not interested in that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So could you, because he felt like there was, I should share with people, he felt like there was a presence on his chest, correct?
Yeah, that was the first night terror he had ever had. That's what he explained it to me as.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm listening to this as, that sounds like something else was going on. And all of my crystals weren't there, but I put crystals on his side of the bed after that just to make sure that it wasn't going to affect him again.
See? That's why they leave us alone about all this stuff, because they say they're skeptics and non-believers, but then they're a little like, sure, go ahead and do your little witchy thing.
Right.
I guess it's helping because I haven't been murdered in my sleep. I don't know.
I haven't had any other experiences in my bedroom.
Because it can only get so far is what I'm thinking. Unless
it can only get so far.
Your crystals. So maybe when there's a full moon, I guess we don't take advantage of the correct side of the building that would have given you the most moonlight. Just wait until the moon's on the other side.
Right. No, I think I just need to get duplicates.
Yeah. I know how your house is laid out, so it's got to take it that way, but I know that doesn't make sense to other people. So
so that happened.
That's crazy, and I can't believe that it's already time for you to sage. It's not been that long, so
it really hasn't. 2 months. It's been 2 months, right?
Yeah, so maybe it's time for you to move.
I agree with you 100%.
When you're looking at those houses and rafters, maybe you should just go ahead and get ready to figure out the lighting in that kind of room. So,
Yeah, I know.
Let's make that plunge because that seems a little too soon.
Yeah.
But let's tell a story
awesome
about a haunted location that isn't your house.
I'm ready to hear about a different haunted location.
No, your house is pretty interesting. And I would like to travel there. And I will, not too long from now, right?
Yes.
Possibly.
Yeah, right.
Definitely. So a million years ago, at the beginning of the year, we said, or no, I'm sorry, at the end of the year, like our New Year's Eve episode, we were like, we're going to tell you in the next podcast what locations we're going to be
Oh,
exploring
that's so
next year.
funny.
Yeah, we totally ditched that idea.
Yeah.
It, we are very forgetful, and we probably forgot we even said that. But also at the same time, we've got a lot going on this year. We've
This is
got
a
a lot
big
of
year.
graduations and big birthdays going on for people.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of other events going on in our lives that we're trying to plan around. So it's making hard for us to plan when we're going to get some paranormal investigating done. So we don't really have a whole lot on the books. But just recently, you and I have texted back and forth, and we've talked about possibly, very likely, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's around Independence Day, 4th of July, that we get together. I'm going to come out to your neck of the woods. We probably won't do a huge investigation. I know nobody wants to hear that, but we're going to do something fun.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, that always happens anytime we're together.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
But we are super behind on reviewing evidence for past investigations, that it doesn't hurt us to take a pause for a
Right.
year.
Get caught up.
Get caught up. You want to hear about these investigations at some point in time, so we might need to actually go through all our evidence for them. Anyways, that's really got nothing to do with my story. So I was super excited that we started making plans for the summer finally, or just for later in the year. That happens with me a lot. Like, I'm like, I got it. I'm going to do this and this and this and this for the year, but I'm so busy that it's hard to focus on things. So just recently, when it was my birthday and my parents were coming to town, it was very last minute that I'm like, what the fuck am I doing what am I doing for my birthday? What am I doing with my parents? Like, I don't even know how to entertain them when they come to town. Like, I've become so last minute on things because we've got so much always going on. But so I started thinking about, like, okay, my parents are going to be here. It's going to be my birthday. What should I do? I mean, like, of course, I want it to be related to something haunted.
Right.
But so is there like a historic, cute hotel that I could like go to that happens to be haunted for a fancy birthday dinner? Or maybe my mom, who does appreciate the paranormal and would go on a mini investigation with me for a night. Maybe we should book a night at a cool haunted hotel or something like that. So I'm looking around, and I know some of the stories locally in Tucson, and I know most definitely the old mining towns around us, Tucson and Bisbee and down to Douglas and Nogales and stuff like that. And the stuff that they've got going on there, it would be perfect. But I'm like, I'm kind of looking for something. Is there something that I haven't heard of before? Something new and interesting, and something that hasn't been investigated a whole bunch, and also local because of the time frame and everything. Is there something that, like, I get off of work and then we roll over to this hotel and we hang out for the night, and I'm going to be off the next day? So that is when I found the Santa Rita Hotel in downtown Tucson.
Nice.
The Santa Rita Hotel opened in 1904 as one of Tucson's most elegant hotels. Construction of the hotel was a major moment for Tucson in the early 20th century because it represented a major investment into the Arizona territory just as a whole. And it introduced to the rest of the world that there were amenities and refinement going on out west. So it would attract the Americans from the eastern seaboard out to the west to come hang out with us. It's fine. It's not all desert and craziness. You can come out here for some luxury. So that's what this hotel was going for. The hotel was completed at a cost of $175,000.
Okay.
And so I guess in that time, that was a buku amount of money.
Sure.
Because it was a very big hotel and it was very fancy. It featured 101, weird number, of guest rooms.
Was it for each one of the Dalmatians?
Because somewhere else I saw 100 guest rooms, and then somewhere I saw 101, and I was like, where did this one come from? thought they were trying to include like the maintenance man's room, but they
Maybe.
specifically said guest room. So I was
Ah.
like, I don't know. I'm going to go with 101
Okay.
because it got bigger and bigger over time.
Okay.
The hotel was located on the southeast corner of the intersection of Broadway Boulevard and Scott Avenue, not far from the Camp Lowell area of Tucson, for listeners that actually know what I'm talking about, for all my Arizona peeps. Or really Tucson peeps would probably only get that. But there are some of those. So, for you guys. The city of Tucson made numerous of public policy changes to support the success of this hotel. They were like, this fine ass hotel, we've got to make this like the shining gem of this desert hole. So we're going to do whatever it takes to make that happen. In August of 1903, the city council passed a resolution to prohibit gambling near the hotel to ensure the property would not be disturbed by lower standard gambling halls. Then they, of course, issued the hotel a license for a bar and a roulette table.
Oh, nice.
Keeping it classy.
Right.
I guess people think roulette is fancier than poker.
It's fun. Oh, yeah, I guess so.
I don't know. That's all it said, is that they issued them a license for a roulette table, not like anything else. So the city also made sure that the electric streetcar system had a stop at the hotel and had access to the main railroad station. So fancy rich people out east could roll up for 3 days on a train, and then they could get right onto the streetcar, and that would take them to their fancy digs in town, the hotel.
Nice.
And they were safe, and they didn't get dirty by the dust. And they just thought, wow, the West is not as bad as we envisioned it to be. This is great.
Sounds like a good time.
I mean, they saw it was possible to have luxury accommodations out in the desert. And so sunshine and fanciness. Who doesn't want that? So the main entrance of the hotel fronted Scotts Avenue and had balconies overlooking an open courtyard 30 feet wide.
Wow.
This place was ginormous. They had an oak-finished dining room, cafe, and bandstand, a grand lobby, including a marble staircase that led up to the second floor. The hotel was 6 stories tall, so I guess that marble staircase, faded out for the
Oh,
other.
okay. It's like, damn, that's a long marble staircase.
Nope, they were just going up there. And then after that, just regular stairs. Get over yourself. Those are heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, anyways, they also had a full basement, which I find fucking amazing. Like, who has a basement in Arizona?
Right.
Yeah. I guess it's like a storage liquor situation. It gets cooler down there, so they built like a basement for themselves.
Oh, they had their own beer cave.
Yeah, I mean,
nice.
I would see the only purpose of building a basement in this hard ass dirt out here is that they were trying to keep shit cool. So they also had 2 wings of the hotel that were also 4 stories tall. So one building 6 stories tall, then 2 other wings that were 4 stories tall. They had an electric elevator and steam heat, which is a big deal at that time. They had a rooftop garden, a dance hall.
Wow.
Each room also had a private telephone and a connection to a private bathroom. What do they mean by a connection to a private bathroom?
Like when you go and you get your hotel room and it has the ensuite, the bathroom in there.
Remember we stayed in that little hotel in Tombstone?
Yes.
And so you go in there and it's like a shared bathroom, but if you lock the other door, the other people can't come in type thing. So I guess maybe it was alluding to something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe there was actually a bathroom in the room and this is just read weird. I don't know. So, but pretty fancy for the 1920s or so. The Santa Rita Hotel played host to movie stars and industrialists. The hotel also hosted important art exhibits and cultural events. In 1917, they had to add another wing to the hotel, which had 160 rooms.
Oh my God.
So this place, it's just gotten massive and taken up the entire corner.
Oh my God. This is huge.
However, as times changed and other cities in the West began to build up, the travelers had more options. So a huge part of the hotel in 1972 was closed, and it was also demolished,
Oh.
leaving just the addition from 1917 behind that was still operating as a hotel until it was demolished in 2009, despite the pleas of preservationists. See, Chris, as much as I fell in love with this story, this is not the hotel that I can go and have a fancy birthday dinner at. It's not the one I can go spend a night at because it doesn't exist anymore.
That's so sad.
Yeah. No exploring the vast grand halls and seeing how people lived in the 1920s unless I meet a time traveler. So you don't know any of those, do you?
No, but I've been doing a lot of like reading up. I love conspiracies and stuff about the time travelers and the weird pictures that are out there of like this lady definitely shouldn't have a cell phone in this era. That it doesn't make any sense. I love seeing that sort of stuff. So when you said that, I was like, sometimes I think that Wendy has access to my Google searches. And then you said, you don't know a time traveler, do you? I'm like, how does she fucking know what I'm doing all the time?
I do have access to your Google.
I wonder sometimes.
No. So when I'm at work and I go to Google, you are logged in because I guess at some point in time I logged into the YouTube. And so I can access our YouTube page online. Yep. But you are the first Google account.
That is so weird.
That is pulled up. And it's not even Google. I guess it's your Yahoo or whatever.
Okay.
So sometimes when I'm Googling stories, I'm like, I wonder if Chris can see my Google searches.
I can't.
But I'm just saying, like, I was paranoid. You can see everything. We already in the past had the issue of like, we have the same YouTube account. So if I'm looking at a bunch of videos of some place, then I'm afraid you can look in the history and see it. Well, then a part of me is like, every time I'm Googling, it's really under her name. I only change it to mine when I want to check my email and stuff at work. So I was like, I wonder if she already knows. Like every time I tell a story, she's like, I knew this was coming.
No. I didn't even know that. So that is so weird that like my paranoia might have solid backing to it.
But I swear I don't know. No, but okay, back to this. Because now the once grand and gorgeous Santa Rita Hotel is now the offices of the Tucson Electric Power Company.
Wow, bummer.
Called TEP here in town. And they took over that building. They tore it down. In 2009, they tore down the entire rest of the building. And they took over that block and put up an office building for themselves. Pretty cool. It's an electric company, though. But if the stories are true, it seems that the history and spirits of the hotel live on. I found an article that Philip Villearaw, I'm going to say it really slow, so it don't even sound right.
I thought the technique was to go really fast.
I know, but I guess I was sounding it out. So it's Philip Villearaw. There you go.
Excellent.
He's from the Daily Star, and he wrote in May of 2009. This is before they tore the hotel down finally, but while they were in negotiations with TEP, the owner was in negotiations with TEP to get everything finalized and to sell the property. So he wrote about the hotel. He said during the construction, workers near the hotel said that people passing by the area and friends and families of theirs constantly would tell them stories that the building was haunted. So they're like, oh, what are you working on this week? Oh, you're working over on so-and-so, tearing down so-and-so. Oh, do you know that place is haunted? They're like, oh, you better watch yourself, So like they were giving them all kinds of warnings and telling them the hotel is haunted, and the construction workers are like, what? So there had been reports of rocks being seen skipping down hallways of the hotel.
Wow.
And doors slamming shut.
Okay.
Once the police were called because the security guard heard footsteps coming from the 4th floor.
Wow.
But when the police came and searched the hotel room by room, nothing was found. A week later, same security guard reported seeing a light on on the 4th floor. He heard sounds like someone was moving around in the room. So again, he calls the police.
Yeah.
The police come and there's nothing.
Damn.
There's nothing that they can find.
They're like, this guy's crying wolf, right?
They're like, sir, what are you on? Like,
oh no, this poor guy. He's like, I
are
promise.
you super lonely? I mean, like, what hour of night is this happening? And he's freaking himself out.
No kidding. I bet this guy was starting to wonder, like, what the hell was wrong with him?
Well, I tell you a little bit more about that a little later. A reporter, or maybe very soon, actually. Hold on. A reporter of the Daily Star claims that he walked by the hotel one night and he heard a creepy bellowing laugh that came from inside the building. So he hopped over the fence and he spoke with the security guard, which is like, I'm sorry, what? And this guy is failing at being a security guard. He just lets people jump over the fence and strike up a conversation with him.
Was it because he was still like entranced with what was going on the 4th floor that he couldn't make it down in time to stop this dude from hopping the fence? I mean, and what like possessed this guy to be like, that's a creepy laugh, hopping over that fence to go and tell somebody about it? What the hell?
A reporter, I can see the initiative of being like, I'm going to discover what this is.
Okay.
So, but he jumps over the fence and he's just like, hey, dude, did you hear that sound? And then the security guard's like, no, I didn't hear anything. And he doesn't call the police or anything.
Yeah, right.
He had called the police on weird sounds in the building before, but a dude jumping over the fence was not a red flag to him. He's just like, he's like, hey, man. No, yeah. He tells him, I didn't hear anything. That didn't come from the building. So now he's on like,
yeah,
that building's not haunted. I didn't call the police twice because I thought it was haunted. Let's forget all that.
Yeah, I wonder if like the last time the cops came, they're like, dude, you've got to cut this shit out. We have real things to investigate besides your lame ass in this not haunted hotel. So get your shit together.
This isn't the 1920s he's calling the police. This is in the 2000s.
Right.
Tucson is not huge on crime, but they are not low on it as well. These police have something else to do. Let's calm down, sir.
Right.
So some may believe that this is just a case of spirits being stirred up due to the construction and the big change with the hotel and stuff, right? But when the hotel was still in operation, the hotel staff had also experienced paranormal activity.
Ooh.
And they felt extremely uncomfortable with it, so much so that they tried to hire a medium to help them.
Oh, no.
But claimed that even after hiring that medium, the activity didn't calm down, which I'm completely surprised the activity continued because do you know who they asked to come and investigate the hotel?
I can't wait for you to tell me.
Parapsychologist Amy fucking Allan.
That's awesome. I'm so glad you're doing this.
Amy Allan used to own a ghost hunting operation called Lost Souls Paranormal Investigations in Tucson because Amy Allan fucking went to the University of Arizona to study parapsychology. She used to live here. So she studied at the U of A and she had a whole operation going on here. There's news reports of her and her gang talking about shit. I did not even know.
What?
Now, give me the benefit of the doubt. I've only been here for 4 years. If other people know, like, what a connection she has with the city, I did not know until now.
Yeah.
But I was like, Amy Allan. It's also not how I would have spelled Allan. I had no idea that's not that she spelled it with 2 A's, not, an A-N-E, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, is there a different Amy Allan? I don't know. So I had to Google it. And sure enough, she went to the U of A.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, no, this is her.
That's wild.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know that she was in Arizona, but I did know about the paranormal group before. I saw her on a TV show a while ago where they talked about a haunting and they brought in different paranormal groups to investigate the haunting. And she was a ghost investigator at the time, not The Amy Allan of today.
Exactly. So, which I found completely fascinating because I was like, they call her a parapsychologist in this, which is fine. That feels like a fitting definition. Later, she's called a physical medium. I mean, like, this is Amy Allan before Amy Allan realized what power she has then. So, this is as she's developing
Right.
shit. She came here.
Wow.
She's originally from Colorado, I believe. The article in 2009 states that she had already moved back to Denver, but
Okay.
I believe I read a bio that says she's from Colorado. Colorado's not that far from Arizona. U of A is a very prestigious school, and it did have this whole like department that was all about like, let's focus on these weirder shits of science, you know? So she was maybe attracted to that, and she came down here for school, but she went back to Denver and then later, like, to your neck of the woods, I think is where she resides kind of now. I'm not really sure. I don't stalk her. I'm just saying.
That is mind blowing because if she was from Denver, like she has every now and maybe it's because she hangs out with Steve so much, but every now and then she has this weird accent, and I was like, is it Boston or is it New York? I don't understand where she has this like New England style accent.
She's all over the place
Yeah.
is what it is. But I think she's originally from Colorado is something that I read. Maybe I'm making that up and we'll have to do a questions corner later. I don't fucking know. And it makes sense because we do get a lot of people like that might be from those neck of the woods and they come down to go to the U of A. So it makes sense that she settled here for a while. She started this investigation team. It does still exist today. I'm sure owned by someone else. I was not aware they were still doing tours, but they do still have a very active Facebook page, so I guess they do.
Wow.
Like I told you the other day that there was a hearse parked in my work parking lot with flames on it and stuff. And I thought there's really only 2 paranormal games in town, this one company and then this one haunted house group. And I said, I bet it's a haunted house group. But I had no idea Lost Souls Paranormal is still a thing here in town. They just posted on Facebook not too long ago. They posted about the Santa Rita Hotel not too long ago. They're still sharing this article from 2019. So they definitely deserve a lot of respect. They put a lot of energy into this place. They credit Amy Allan for the beginning of that, but later on I'll talk about another person that gave a lot of evidence on the location that is also in that group. Now, who currently is in that group, I'm not aware of. And you can't investigate the building anymore. Right. So my story is just about the building, but more props to those people. I didn't friend request them and start following them or whatever, because I'm always so afraid that you might see what I'm doing and then it will like catch on to my story. So I wait until I do my story and then I will do all that. So then I can follow them and see what they're up to. Anyways, back to this hotel. The amazing Amy Allan researched the Santa Rita Hotel from 1998 to 2006, working pro bono, by the way, when they were trying to hire a medium. She did not take money from them. She came on behalf of the very upset staff that called on her, and she investigated the location to see what was going on. She said that the Santa Rita Hotel is as haunted as the San Diego Whalen House, which is labeled, or was at that time, which was labeled by the Travel Channel as the most haunted house in America.
Wow.
So the Santa Rita Hotel was up there. Allan believes there is many entities that live at the Santa Rita. The ghosts tell her that they are being kept there by a sinister, powerful spirit.
That's fucked up.
It's also very Allan-like.
That's true.
Allan believes the sinister spirit, is a Native American who is buried underneath the hotel.
Oh, damn.
Which, I mean, in my neck of the woods, that's very possible. Is it just the one? I mean, like, is that how they operate? Seems like they would have made, I mean, it's a large space is all I'm saying. She says the spirit draws on the fears and angers of others. He can move objects and throw things across rooms. He's the one opening and closing doors. He's not evil, she says. He's just very, very upset. And like everyone that crosses his path. So I call that evil, but whatever. I mean,
out of curiosity, does he also hate women?
Everyone.
Oh, okay.
There was a story on another website that was a little sketchy, so I wasn't really sure, but it was saying that these people were in town for like a U of A event that was speaking on Native American cultures, and they stayed at the Santa Rita Hotel. I'm sure they weren't aware of this Native American being buried underneath the hotel or anything, but they stayed there, and apparently they didn't survive it. They died of a heart attack.
Oh, God.
All three of them.
All three of them.
While staying in the hotel. But like I said, not the hotel, the website that I got that information from, I was a little like, who's spilling out some crazy shit? Or is this real? So I didn't include it in my story, though I did just tell you. It's interesting, but it seems a bit extreme. So I don't know. The owner, Mr. Lopez, says that he doesn't agree with what Allan says at all, which Allan had commented before that she believes the owner is trying to keep like a low profile on things, and that he doesn't want the news of the hauntings getting out to the public.
Okay.
But like I said, Lopez says he denies all spiritual presence inside the hotel. He's owned the hotel since 1979 and even at one point lived in the hotel. And he says he's never recalled any guest or employees complaining about paranormal experiences, and he's never experienced it himself.
That's also a bit extreme, sir. I mean, you've got stories all over the place, and he says he's never heard any.
Yeah, he's like, so also a guy named John Cousins, the general manager of the property, he was like on board with Lopez. He was like, I've never experienced anything. This is crazy. This is, nonsense. And they both were like, we can debunk all these claims people are making. Doors slamming. Well, we leave the windows open to air things out, and it's just a wind shutting them. Okay, fine. That happens in my house too. I get it.
Yeah.
But that's not all the claims people were making. And then also, why did your employees call Amy Allan in the first place?
Right.
I mean, like, somehow she didn't just walk by and be like, this hotel looks creepy and run down. I'm going to assume it's haunted.
Right.
And then I'm going to go in and make up some shit about it.
Oh.
I feel like somebody had to have called her. So your employees or people staying there had to have told her something about it. And they're just completely like, it's all bullshit. That's crazy. No. None of that's happening here.
That's really weird.
Yeah. So they're in complete denial, or they're afraid the Tucson Electric Power Company is going to be scared off by ghosts.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think they will, but I mean, like, whatever.
That's like their way out. I guess the Tucson Electric Company, did they buy it, then demolish it, then build on top of that property? Yeah. So it could be that they were worried.
They could have put their offices anywhere. I mean, obviously, they're the power company for the entire goddamn city. So, I mean, like, they're a big company. Yeah. They make money. So they could have put it anywhere. Maybe this guy was that. We recently just got a deal with Amazon, and it was a big deal for Tucson to get the deal with Amazon to put I think they're just putting like a warehouse or something.
Like distribution,
but it was still
plant.
Like so many cities and states were like,
they were competing for the bid.
Yeah, competing. So they were sending shit. And I heard this story that Tucson sent Amazon a cactus and was like, don't you want to come here? And Amazon was like, can we do a little better than a cactus? And Tucson was like, oh, yeah, we can. We've got tons of space for it and plenty of eager ass people that would love for you to be here. So whatever. We won the bid somehow. I don't know. We've got a lot of open space. I'm sure that's all it is. But for this guy to be able to sell his rundown hotel to the TEP is a big deal, and he doesn't want to mess that up. And I guess he's not sure if the idea of menacing ghost is going to hinder that deal or not. Because they could have picked any block.
Yeah, right.
Like I said, there's a lot of open space. So. Also, John Cousins, the property manager, had even instructed the security guard to not talk to the Daily Star. Huh. Probably after those 2 calls to the police, the property manager was like, hey, man, stop it.
Yeah, put a button on that shit.
This is going to get out, and they're going to tell everyone, and we've got a deal we're working on, because the hotel wasn't open at this point. There was a big fence around it and everything. And so they were like, shut up. Be quiet. But why have to silence him if it's only wind and open windows?
Yeah, right. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Surely he can talk about wind and open windows.
Yeah, of course. He can give you logical reasons. Oh, sir, you heard a billowing laugh because the door is open from the back to the front and it's the wind tunnel. I don't
Right.
fucking know. But I mean, you're on drugs. I mean, like, why are you walking in this neighborhood in the middle of the night? I
Right,
don't
jumping
know.
fences.
He could have said, yeah, and jumping fences and thinking this is okay. And then he could have called the police on him for trespassing. But
Yeah.
he didn't do any of those things. So the security guard's trying to like keep it real, but also like Lopez and Cousins is coming down on him like, stop it, man. We're trying to make a deal. So
This guy is cracking me up. This half-ass security guard who's like, on it, I'm on it, I'm on it. And now he's like, nah, I'm not playing around with this shit anymore.
I know what I saw, man. I mean, because if you say like, okay, so they can explain the noises that people say they hear with wind and doors shutting, fine. So can we. That's fine. However, the security guard himself was complaining about lights being on.
Yeah.
And then other people were talking about rocks being thrown.
Right, I like
None
that.
of that could be explained by the wind.
No.
So,
I mean, how strong is the wind blowing anyways? I mean, is it just like blowing rocks into the building so that they can roll continuously through?
It's funny that you say that because on Friday we had a wind advisory. Like 30 miles per hour for the wind. So I don't know, maybe small pebbles. There's lots of rocks around here. So maybe that was it, but I don't know.
Well, that's a bummer.
Either way, our girl Amy Allan, that's got the touch, went in there and she picked up on the Native American spirit. Plus, Amy's done moved to Denver. She's not here anymore. Now, Teresa Ortiz is the owner of the Lost Souls Ghost Tour of downtown Tucson. I swear, I don't know if they still do tours because why wouldn't I have heard of this already?
Yeah.
But at the time, in 2009, Ortiz was the owner of this tour group, and she had the Santa Rita Hotel on her stop before it was torn down, She had also investigated the property many times before it was torn down, and she believes that she met the ghost that is responsible for so much of the mischief at the hotel.
Would this have been a walking tour?
Yeah. So they were doing walking tours, kind of like how we did downtown Memphis one time, and they just stop in front of the place and tell a story.
Okay.
But before that, like when her and Amy Allan, I'm assuming her and Amy Allan got to go into the location and really investigate and be within the walls, she claims that she met this spirit and she had a lot of other interaction, but it wasn't part of the tour.
Okay.
This was just her on her own with her group.
Okay.
But it was a part of the stop of a downtown walking tour situation until it was torn down. And for all I know, if they still operate today, maybe they go in front of the TEP building and they tell the story. Kind of like when we were in Salem and they walked us in front of, I don't remember what that building was.
There's a couple of them.
But it was like an office building, and they were like, this used to be a place where they were holding accused witches and whatever, and you could hear screams and stuff like that from outside the building. But it was like an office building.
Yeah, it is. It's all offices now. Yeah.
So, yeah. They might still do that now. Like I said, I didn't even know this ghost. I don't know. I'm failing at my, in my paranormal community that I don't know that these people still operate or not today. So Teresa Ortiz, she did investigate the hotel before it was torn down, and she claimed she met the menacing spirit within the hotel.
Cool.
She believes his name is Ferguson.
Ferguson. Oh, wait. Is the good ghost or the bad ghost?
Well, she says it's a mischievous ghost of the hotel, though this is not the Native American spirit that Amy spoke of. This is a different spirit. He is believed to be found around, or at the time when the hotel existed, he was found around room 822. Ortiz believes that he was the one running up the electric bill by turning on the lights on and off.
Oh, wow.
Ortiz says that she would sometimes see his silhouette from the street at night. She claims to be a sensitive, though she says she cannot communicate with the spirits like Amy Allan can.
Okay.
So she is sensitive to those things, and she does believe that she has seen Ferguson in her mind's eye, which I'm assuming is like a vision.
Yes. Okay.
So according to Ortiz, Ferguson is a very tall and slim with short white hair, almost balding, and he has big teeth. So that's weird. But
it's also
sounds sexy.
Creepy. Oh.
She believes during her investigations that she performed in 2005 that she uncovered that Ferguson was a victim of a love triangle in the 1920s. Ferguson's younger wife was caught with another man.
Oh.
When he discovered she was also pregnant with that man's baby.
Damn.
He killed both of them.
Took care of that.
Her and her lover. And then hung himself in the hotel elevator shaft.
Did he now?
Yeah.
In the elevator shaft.
Yeah. What a weird place to go.
I don't like elevators, man. I just talked about that.
You know, though, in the Waverly Hotel was in front of an elevator shaft, so maybe that offers the best supportive
The beams, and it's a big open spot. You can't take it back.
Oh, no, you can't.
You know, if you're, you know, how they do it in a room, and they get on the chair, and they hang themselves by some kind of light fixture or something that's in the room usually, right? But if that were to break, then they're just going to hit the floor, and then they're going to be hurt. They're not going to be dead. So I mean, if you do it somewhere in like an elevator shaft,
You're committing.
There's
to
nothing
it.
but more death.
Uh-huh.
Right. If that breaks, then you have that.
The fall,
it's
yeah,
over.
along with it. That's really upsetting. So
You're totally committed, yeah.
Another website had also put this Ferguson character. They said, you know, that they believe he exists in the hotel as well. However, they said it in the 1945s. Or not fives, but they said it in 1945. But because I like the idea of flapper dressers involved in my version of the story in the 1920s, it's just sexier to me. So I'm going to stick with Ferguson existed in the 1920s. So
the 20s?
Yeah,
With
I mean,
the
I
flapper
don't know what they
girls.
were wearing
Gotcha.
in 1945, but I think the clothes were better in 1920s. I just like flapper dresses because they're all like, it looks like they're one size fits all. I mean, they're just like a nightgown, but they're flashy, you know, with tassels and shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can wear feathers in your hair
Right.
and stuff like that. Well, not feathers in your hair, but like on a band. Anyways, we're just going to believe the night it happened in the 1920s. It was a love triangle either way, and the guy ended up killing people and then hanging himself within the hotel.
Wow.
The most tragic tale of the Santa Rita Hotel is that of a little boy who in 1939 drowned in the hotel pool, and some say, including Ortiz, that you could find little wet footprints.
Oh my God.
Which, you know, doesn't exist now, but when it did, people would see little wet footprints. When the hotel was open, people did report hearing kids talking in the hallways on the third floor, so much so that they would ask the security guard to come check it out. Like, why are these kids just roaming the halls by themselves?
Yeah.
And then the security guard would show up and nobody would be there.
Oh my gosh.
Another website said that, you know, different from Philip's article, said that the parents of the boys that had drowned also jumped to their deaths after finding out that their son had died out of guilt because they apparently weren't watching him. They had spent their evening in the hotel bar and left him alone.
Oh.
I don't know. That, I don't know. I mean, like, you think because it was in print in the Daily Star, I mean, I guess it does what somewhat sound like a gossip column or whatever,
right, yeah.
but because it was in print, you feel like maybe he put a little effort into fact checking things, and he didn't mention the parents. So this other website that I found, I'm not sure, but there was somebody that said that there were 7 documented deaths within the hotel. So
Wow. This
would add up between the love triangle, the boy drowning and whatnot, and the Native American. That would make 7. So as I said before, the Santa Rita Hotel is now one of Tucson Electric Power Company's office buildings. You will never again be able to explore the halls and soak up the 1920s luxury energy that this hotel exuded and meet these dark, unsettled energies that Lost Souls Paranormal uncovered. But we can harass the TEP employees by sending them questions through Google, their website, all forms of social media, asking if the building is haunted, like I did.
I was going to say, I know you did.
I did.
What'd you
I
get?
totally sent them. Because there's all these websites. I mean, like on Google, it's like, hey, we're TEP. We love you. We want to help you to save energy and stuff like that. What do you want to ask us about that?
My God.
And I'm like, is your building haunted on Broadway and Scott Avenue? They have not replied.
Aw.
But, it's a waiting game.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just waiting to get to my comment. So I did send them plenty of questionnaires asking them if anybody is experiencing paranormal activities within this building. And a little less aggressive route of handling this is that you can go hang out at the Sushi Bar. That is a restaurant underneath the TEP office building.
Interesting.
You can go for happy hour, get you a sushi plate. I'm not huge on sushi. It's got to be cooked for me. But you can hang out and see if you hear any bellowing laughter that
Well, you know where you can take me. I love some sushi. I know as soon as you said a sushi restaurant, I'm like, well, fuck, that's not up your alley. I guess happy hour, that'll be fine.
No,
but...
happy hour and then cooked sushi, like with crab in it and stuff like that. I don't know about eating raw fish. But there is a sushi restaurant that is underneath the TEP office buildings which is on the property. So you may go hang out there and see, and they do have a happy hour. You can go hang out and see if anything happens. So as I wait for the TEP employees to respond back to me, or I make plans to go get sushi at that bar, then we won't know for sure if the activity continues there. But I swear to you, the next time Amy Allan has an event in my area, I think I'm going to have to dish out all my fucking money to be able to go, because now I know all I have to do is wear like a U of A sweatshirt and pull up to her and be like, I'm Ramato, and pretend like I went there, and then just be like trying to catch up and ask her all about the haunted shit in Tucson, because she must know. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all I got for you.
That is, I know when you texted me and you said you had a bombshell, I couldn't wait to hear what it was. And when you started with the Santa Rita of Tucson, I'm like, that actually sounds familiar, but maybe I'm mixing it up, because I'm thinking actually of a hotel that's in Nevada. It can't be the one you're talking about, because you clearly said this is in Tucson. So I'm like, okay, I'll keep it quiet. This isn't what I think it is. And then when you got to the part where you're like, and a medium showed up, but they didn't actually clear the building, so to speak. And I was like, the bombshell's coming.
Like I said, I was reading that article, and it's from 2009. This is before her show starts. So they're talking of Amy Allan as if she was somebody that came to Tucson. She was a part of this Lost Souls Paranormal, but she's done moved back to Colorado and given up. I mean, they don't mention her being what she is today. They're just like, Amy Allan came to investigate, but she's moved back to Denver, Colorado. So, forget her. Never mind. She investigated, and this is what she said about the place, but she's back at home living in her parents' basement. So, no big deal about her. And I was like, is there another Amy Allan? And I'm like, into the, because that's not also how I would spell Allan. So I'm like, what is happening here? And then all of a sudden I'm coming to a realization. I'm like, holy fucking God. She was from Tucson the whole time. I mean, it's like, well, not from Tucson, but she went to the U of A, and that's really all that, you need to say you're from Tucson, I think, but because it's a U of A town. So
I think that's wild. Yeah. So put on your best U of A sweatshirt and go and hobnob with old buddy Amy Allan from the college life, and hell to the that's great. I love that. So then when you started on Amy Allan and you were talking about how she had gone there and they were like, but nothing changed. I was like, oh, fuck. This is going to be the episode where I have to badmouth Amy Allan, and I can't do that right now. Just not really feeling it. Since I've found Twitter, like it's this brand new exotic social media.
I feel like that is how we interpreted it, because I am a little Twitter stupid. I look at it and I'm like, what am I doing? How do I link things? How do I get people to look at my stuff or whatever? The hashtags don't seem to be as abundant as in Instagram.
Right.
So I'm like, what's going on here?
But I follow her on it, as a matter of fact. I also follow Amy Bruni, who is, as you are aware, Kindred Spirits.
I know all the Amy's.
And I don't know if you saw this or not, but she posted pictures of someone texting her, talking about how they love her. They love her and her show. So excited that she's on 2 shows and wanted to know more about the Dead Files. And Yes, 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 yes. And then they went on to say something about, I saw you in this and that or whatever. And she's like, yeah, can you share with me what it was that you saw me in? And it was like an episode of the Dead Files. And she's like, yeah, that's the wrong Amy. And I'm like, oh my God, Amy Bruni. I wonder if that happens to her a lot or what. But that was so funny.
Now they're both on the Travel Channel together because the
Right.
Travel Channel just soaked up all that paranormal shit.
I
They
know.
were like,
Yeah.
we control it all. I think they're owned by the government and they're trying to hide something. They're trying to collect
Maybe.
it all in one place. I don't know.
Yeah, they're monopolizing it. They just want the biggest piece of the pie. They don't want anyone else to have it.
But they're two totally different people. And and they have different styles 100%. Let's see them
completely.
together though, in a mud fight together.
But yeah, I thought that was hysterical. I was going to share it with you when I saw it. But like I said, Twitter is this new exotic thing to me. So I went to hit back to home or something and it was gown. I'm like, I don't even know how to search for people. I just have to wait for it to just show up in my feed. So I'm like, well, bye-bye. Whatever that was. I guess
Never mind, thought.
Right, exactly.
On to the next one. I don't know. Twitter.
Sorry, I don't want to sound
It sounds so stupid, but I don't get it, man.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to sound social media inadequate here, but I really only do well with Instagram. That's like the only one I'm so good at. I'm just starting out with that, really.
I can tell you, my 15-year-old loves some Instagram, so I feel like if we could just conquer that.
Yeah.
But it feels like more adult if we could hit the Twitter.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
So we should have a lot of 15-year-old followers.
Well,
maybe not Twitter. I'm not really sure.
Oh.
But all my Twitter accounts are like for me personally, which I just post like weird shit that I don't think anybody will ever read because most of my family doesn't follow my Twitter account. So I feel like I can get away with saying shit there. And then there's the Spirit Emporium. Well, that's just posting any new product that we might have.
Yeah.
And so that's the only interaction I have with it is me trying to get like my internal emotions out and posting new products. So that's as far as I go with it. So you really have the struggle of figuring out how to conquer it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to take some time. I do feel like, though, since I have started the Twitter, it has maybe brought some more interest into the Instagram page because in one day, I got 12 followers on Instagram from other podcasts.
Ooh.
And I was like, I mean, is it National Podcast Day? And maybe these people are just being like, let's throw her a bone. I mean, shit. Please.
I don't mind that.
It was wild. I didn't expect that. And I was excited. And I've told you before, like it seems like on Instagram, either I gain followers and then immediately lose them, or there's some kind of delay in the count. Because it'll be like, boom, you've got this number. And then the next day it's like, yeah, not so much. Just a little off the top, I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. So I haven't conquered any social media there. I'm still far behind, just like I am with everything. I'm slowly creeping along, learning things as I go, as a tortoise would. That is the speed at which I move. But anyways.
That's fair. Again, yeah. So any young, vibrant college kid that can figure all this stuff out that would like to assist us, then we're more than welcome to your ideas and assistance for free.
Come and be a part of the Creatures of the Night paranormal team who earns nothing for any of this.
Exactly. For free.
Notoriety.
For free. Do you hear me? For free.
Pro bono. We got you right here.
Pro bono. Just like Amy Allan in her, early days.
Yep.
That shit ain't pro bono anymore. So just like, think of the bigger picture.
Yeah, right.
Maybe we could be like her one day.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I want to see things that she sees.
We're not physical mediums.
No, we're podcasters.
Might be a little harder for us.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, we just read things and then spew it all back out for you.
Yeah, but hilariously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it for my story. There are a lot of haunted places in Tucson. The Congress Hotel, which I'm hoping to maybe experience myself and then tell you a great story about it. I'm saving it, believe it or not. I mean, like, I know that sounds weird, but we have a party downtown for Christmas every
Yeah,
year.
didn't you go? Isn't that where you went?
Yeah. Yeah, and in the past we've always been like, let's stay at the Congress Hotel. It's Christmas time, and so it's hard to, like have money everywhere. But this year, I really think that that's going to happen. I'm going to stay there instead of driving home myself. There's the Congress Hotel. That's a really big deal, and there's like the Paradiso. That's an old mission and things like that. But I was just trying to look for something different, and I found this hotel, and you can't get any different than a hotel that used to be haunted and is now torn down.
Right.
So, nobody can really experience it anymore. That's the end. It's haunted. You'll never know unless you work for TEP.
Or
the end.
You go get some sushi.
That too. I wonder. It's probably so loud in there. They don't hear anything, though.
It's definitely hard.
I thought about harassing them and asking them questions on social media too, but then I thought I'd get that response like, nah, we're banging pots and we're like, chopping up sushi all day. I don't know. That they don't hear anything that's going on.
I don't know. It is very difficult to investigate a restaurant while it's open. So, there's
during happy hour. I mean, no. I want to hear from the TEP employees when they're like, oh, I worked late because I wasn't finished with this report yet. And then all of a sudden, like, some shit moves or like, like some extreme shit. I don't feel like that's happened in the restaurant. I can understand they could have late nights. Maybe something weird's happened. I don't know.
I think you're right. I think just going and trying to experience whatever you can and maybe talk to them and see if you can get a feel for anything like that, that's probably the best way to go. But it's still cool that is a sushi restaurant down in the basement because I would totally be eating there as often as I could.
Some of it looks really good. I think I'm going to have to make a trip out there one time for something.
Yeah.
I mean, they have sushi I would eat there. So I'd be like by myself eating it though. Because nobody
really
wants
Nobody's
to eat
like
with
that?
me.
Huh. Well, I love that you found some crazy connection to Amy Allan in your town.
That was just like, as soon as I uncovered that, I was like, this is my fucking story because I don't know if Chris knows this. I mean, maybe she does, but maybe she doesn't. And the fact that maybe she doesn't, I have to tell her. And I can't just text her and be like, I found this haunted hotel and this is what's going on now that we do this podcast.
Yes.
It's like, wait.
I know. That's why, like, I feel like all I text you about now is like how much I hate work, because if something does happen, I'm like, I gotta save that shit.
Yeah. Anything super juicy, that we really enjoy, it's every other week and we get to talk about it. But that's fair.
Gotta save that shit up. That's good stuff.
So we can share it with everyone at the same time.
Yeah, everyone gets to hear it.
How nice of us.
I know. We're such good, fun-loving podcasting people. They should listen to us more often. Sharing and caring.
That's us. So, like I said before, I'm not going to repeat it again. You should have listened in the beginning. We have a whole social media outlets for you to talk to us and an email address. Fast forward to the beginning if you want to hear, where to go. And if this is your first time, I hope you enjoyed that. And thank you for joining us. And that's it.
Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Good night.